like the series you did of interview. I think there was like 6 or 7 interviews you did with him about it.
He wouldn't leave me alone. Jesus.
Yeah.
I love Paul.
But it was such an enlightening series, and very, very kind of personal, even like, and very powerful at times, like talking about the close friend that he lost and everything. Like, it was a really amazing series, and I congratulate you both on it. I'm super excited for the film. Like, the guy's been working round the clock at it. You know what I mean? The poor guy must have been working every hour God gave him for the last year and a bit.
Well, that's certainly true. I mean, I speak to him. I've spoken to him every day through it. I mean, it's an exhausting and time consuming. Doesn't even scratch the surface. But what he's had to sacrifice and the sort of abuse that he's gotten.
That thing with his kid and everything, with somebody threatening his kid on. I mean, that's absolutely fucking appalling.
It's disgusting.
Like, because the guy's making a film. Like, give me a fucking break.
Yeah.
There's got to be somebody better at Target than that. But I'm super excited. Like, I really, really hope I can get down to Philly. My kid's coming in March, so I'm hoping I can market it as my last kind of weekend of just unrelenting alcohol consumption before the baby comes.
I have been there. Use it for as much as you can. I only have 2 days, and I just cashed in my chips to do a podcast.
Yeah.
So
we should have went and got a few cans and made a liquid one.
Listen, I'll tell you what. I'm gonna be in Philly. Do everything that you possibly can to get down there, and the first round's on me. All right. That
for
much
sure.
is a promise.
Like I say, I've got the air miles for the flight for sure. I don't see it being a problem. Like my work has a hotel discount thing. I can probably get a decent hotel downtown for an all right price. Because I've never been to any of the conventions or the Fela or whatever, so I really want to get down and meet you and meet Paul and meet all these guys I've been listening to for a couple of years now or whatever, and put I know what you look like, but in real life put faces to the names kind of thing.
Richard, let me tell you, this is just to set the scene for the Fela and these meetups and so on. I mean, I'll use the example, and I'll bring up the man who needs no introduction. The man that everybody knows on a first name basis. Of course, I'm talking about Deco. So Deco, the shining star of the Canadian Celtics support, and I mean that in such a way. I mean, Deco. Deco is. I mean, he's a human Goliath. I mean, he will jump up on top of a chair and launch himself through the air as if he's sort of an Airbus A380 that's had its cargo bay overloaded, and then he just sort of drops down to the ground. But it's entertainment for everybody. I kid Deco and I love him. But just to give you an idea of sort of the vibe, if you will, the tone. Deco walks into the Fela after driving for whatever it is, 9, 10, 11 hours, and his car breaks down on the way. Still makes it into Center City, Philadelphia, to the Plow and the Stars. Bursts through the doors, himself and Paul Doherty from Toronto by way of Linlithgow. We don't hold that against them. Burst through the doors, and both of them just start singing the Celtics song.
Nice.
For it's a grand old day. And the whole place turns around, looks at them, and joins in. The entire place. I mean, everything stops. I mean, that's exactly what it's like. It's a weekend of that. I mean, it's a weekend of, and you sort of have your home base around 1 or 2 pubs, and you see people cutting about down the street with Celtic tops on, and it's shouting across the street, Celtic. It's funny because the local people from Philly, like the Monday after these sort of meetups or whatever, they get on the subway or the bus or whatever, and they're just half expecting that if they just shout out Celtic, somebody will yell Celtic back. But to your point, you get to meet a lot of these people that you've been engaged with on Twitter, and you feel like and you do, because when you see them in person, it's like you've known them your whole life, and it's an absolutely phenomenal time. And when you leave, the only thought is, I can't wait to come back. When's the next one? Where's the next one going to be? That's what
you missed the most, Graham. I never remember the name of this pub. I want to say it's called like Kerry's or some, on the way up on London Road, I think, on the way up to Celtic Park. And I think it's closed now, but see when you walk in there and you can just hear the band playing in the back, and it's like a long hallway and a couple of nondescript doors, and the typical Glasgow bouncer who's like 5 foot fuck all, but he could like rip you apart if he wanted to. And like you walk in and hear the singing and join in, whether it's Celtic songs, Rebel songs, whatever, and that's what you miss. Is that kind of, because even like growing up, like I didn't have a lot of Celtic mates. I didn't like until I came here, really, I didn't have a lot of Celtic mates. I went to, as I would say, a Protestant school, but I guess I should say non-denominational in Scotland. But so all my mates were Huns, I'm afraid to say. Yeah. So like until I came over here, I wasn't hanging out with Celtic fans all the time. And I miss that so much, because there's nothing like it. Like, and even that weekend in Toronto a few years back, like, there was a bit of singing and here and there, and I tried to lead it as much as I could, and it's like, that's what I miss the most.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's exactly the sort of situation. I mean, it's an entire bar. I mean, picture, if you will, an entire bar packed with Tims, right? Watching the first time that Celtic will ever play Sevco, the tribute act, and then straight away after, it's the premiere of the Asterisk Years, which none of us will have ever seen. I mean, I cannot wait. To
the stage is really setty. Like you couldn't have scripted it.
You couldn't
really like. Here, I'm a singer-guitarist, by the way, as well, if there's any room in the bill.
Fantastic.
I sing all the Rebel stuff as well. I wouldn't try and bring my thing down with me, but if I could borrow a guitar, I'm happy to do a set or something.
I'll get in touch with Seamus, and you're booked. That's final. So you heard it live here. We've just booked. The musical talent. It's going to be phenomenal. I'm serious. I'm forwarding your information to Seamus. He will be in touch.
For sure.
Speaking about the first game, between us and the unwashed zombie tribute act.
Yeah.
I mean, are you looking forward to this game at all? I mean, granted, since Rangers have died and this new club has formed of such dare I say impoverished means, and of benevolent.
It's the gift that keeps on.
Exactly. Really, I mean, it's just benevolent tones throughout as they march their way from the bottom all the way up. But there's this narrative that continues to be pushed on us, by the media and by other segments, sort of within the Scottish establishment, if you will, that that element has been missed. That side of Glasgow has been missed, and there's this like anticipation and excitement building towards it. Are you excited about about this tie, about finally having a spectacle like this that's been artificially propped up? I mean, can you just sort of take it or leave it, not be bothered? Where are you at with this?
I'll be honest. I'm excited. Like when I heard the draw last week, I think the people that were there, everybody's kind of talked for a while. Like I don't care. They're not the same club and whatever. And I mean that's true from a business and whatever sense. But it's the same scumbags that are following them. There's still armies of them. They were burning the Scottish flag and beating up women after the vote and everything. They're still the same old scummy bastards they always were. And it's like I was lucky enough to be home when that under-17 game was on a couple of years ago, when all the trouble was at Firhill. I mean, it's a bit of a storm in a teacup, but, just think it's going to be a Hampden, right, or a big stadium anyway. I don't know if Hampden will be done by then. It's going to be 50-50 support. Like, it's going to be nuts.
Yeah.
We can say whatever we like about them being dead and everything, but like I say, it's going to be those same arseholes that are cheering for them, wearing the same colour of jerseys.
I'll tell you what, sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I hope we absolutely fucking thrash them.
Oh, no question about that. I mean, and a couple of points. I'm just delighted that we the strongest club left in the draw drew the weakest club left in the draw. We can let Aberdeen and Dundee United fight it out or whatever, and sort of we'll mop up the scraps. That's no bother whatsoever. But to a certain extent, I'm glad that it's being played at Hampden and we're not having to play them, especially for the first time at say like Celtic Park. I mean, granted. They're going to destroy the place. We know that. I mean, it's nothing different from Rangers when they, were alive before they went tits up and were never to be seen again. But also, it leads to all sorts of awkward challenges, where What do we call them? What are they announced over the tannoy? I mean, is there going to be that inevitable time when, the tannoy at Celtic Park refers to them as Rangers? And then, quite rightfully, in my perspective, we would react in a sort of, an appalled manner. But at least it alleviates that. I mean, if it's going to be at Hampden, they can call them whatever the hell we want. We know what they are. And, like I said, we're going up against the weakest side. There is a narrative there, that can't be, that can't be sort of washed over. And I'm looking very much forward to turning them the fuck over, and sending them back, across the river, so they can think again. Fuck them. I don't care. Like you said, I don't care. New club, old club, whatever. It's the same unwashed, bigoted, just horrible element, and we will continue to keep them in their place for years and years to come. That's it. I said it.
I really hope so. Yep. I mean, they're going to be up for it though. I mean, whatever. I mean, they played in my hometown a couple of weeks ago against our next town over. My nearest professional team, quote unquote, is Dumbarton. And I think they played down in Dumbarton a couple of weeks ago, and I think they only won. I forget if that was one of their bigger wins or if it was 1-0. I'll be quite honest, I don't even follow the results. I just get a text sometimes if they've get beat or drew with some shite, like part-time bakers and whatever. But
yeah, that must be really fulfilling for them, scalping painters and plumbers each week,
Exactly. One of my favourite stories since the whole Sevco thing was that I think they were playing like East Fife or something. In fact, there was a couple of stories, but once like one of the teams was missing their best player because he works in like a pasty factory and a trolley and fell in his foot or something like that. And then the other one they were playing, I forget what team it is that's near Carnoustie, but they splashed out to stay in the fancy hotel there, and half of the guys working in the hotel serving them their pints and their dinner were the guys that were playing the next day. Like it's just hilarious, because I mean, a little, well, it won't be a secret anymore, but like growing up, you always follow the team your dad cheers for, right? So my stepdad growing up was actually a Dundee United fan. So growing up, I would always just cheer for them when I was a kid. And my best memory growing up was the 95 Scottish Cup final when we beat them. Because all my mates were saying, we're going to fucking stuff you and whatever. And we beat them 1-0.
Yeah.
But for years and years and years, I said there's just something not right. Like, you would watch these decisions and games and penalty calls and everything. You would think they're just cheating bastards. Like, it was clear as day.
Exactly.
And it came out that the whole time they had been cheating.
Exactly.
And still there's this denial. Like, oh, no, it was Craig White duped us or what. Craig White's, I think he should be knighted. Like, that guy's a fucking genius.
Yes,
and he just shows how easy led they are.
He can walk into any CSC worldwide and not buy a pint. We love Craig White.
I mean, like, just the way he just strung them along and friggin' walked away with millions and millions of pounds and went and lived in fucking Monaco. I think Paul Larkin was saying he was at like Prince's after show
he went to the Prince concert.
Flashing their cash. They're saying, he's broke and whatever. He's not broke.
Show us the deeds. They're the Prince concert.
See, what was that thing recently? Like, the company he owns now, like, their shares went from like penny stocks all like way up. I was emailing our treasurer saying, we should have bought shares in that. We'd be minted. Like the guy's just, I mean, the whole Rangers thing was great, but he was the best thing about it. Even all the pictures. Like, I still have that thing on my phone.
Yes.
Where it's like the picture of him with the big googly eyes that said, right, fuck this, geese my pound back.
And then there's the image of Chris Graham cowering in front of his laptop with veins bulging from his forehead.
Like my Canadian mate I was mentioning earlier, he came over to see me in Scotland when I was home in July for a bit, and we watched that whole YouTube video because he's always said he does this really good Scottish accent. And he'll just quite often pipe out with "right, show us the deeds." We watched the whole speech, and it was just so barbaric. It's all these guys, and he's meant to be given like a statesman-like address, and he's standing there pointing and swearing at them and everything.
He comes off like
we
a,
would
like
pester
like a
ourselves.
he comes off like a Jakey on Suck Y'all Street at 4 a.m. Like just
Yeah,
waving
he
at the
really is.
passersby.
I mean, that's really all he is. Like I remember Tommy in Glasgow or whatever did an interview with him and
God
just
bless
tried
him.
to kind of mislead him, like, and he was asking him, "Oh, well, like when you were there, Bomber, was it brown envelopes or whatever that you